Hello everyone, I'm here on the side of my house and I just want to make a quick video on what is my favorite native tree here in the DC area, and this is the eastern hemlock, Tsuga canadensis. And this is, unlike most native tree species here, this is an evergreen and it's a conifer, and it's a very elegant tree in my opinion. You know, we sort of take what we can get here. Conifers are pretty rare. They're very common in the landscape. As you can see, there's, you know, quite a few of them around down the street and whatnot. But here, if you're actually going to the forest here, conifers are pretty rare, and they don't make up much of the canopy. You know, we have understory evergreens like you know, holly, and various like rhododendron species, but as far as the canopy is concerned, yeah, there's not, mostly deciduous, probably, you know, yeah, a vast majority of deciduous trees make up the canopy here. So hemlocks are very special here, and especially if you see them in the wild, it really adds something, especially in winter when you see that, like, that green tree sticking out against all the other, you know, bare trees. It's really I think it's beautiful. And yeah, I mean, you know, when you see it in the landscape, it's just like, oh, it's just another conifer, because conifers are everywhere in the landscape. But, you know, even here, I still have an appreciation for them. And they're called the redwoods of the East because, you know, redwoods are also conifers. They do kind of look like redwoods, especially growing together. The most famous place where you can find them is Cook Forest State Park in northern Pennsylvania, in the Allegheny Mountains. And yeah, that's a, you know, large, they call it the black forest because it's basically almost entirely evergreen canopy, mostly made up of eastern hemlocks and eastern white pine, which again, yeah, a lot of Pennsylvania is just deciduous forest, but this is actually the state tree of Pennsylvania. So kind of strange, deciduous dominated state, which has an evergreen conifer as its state tree. And I think that's pretty awesome. I thought that was really cool when I learned that. Yeah, I've watched a bunch of videos on how they've been affected, because there's this insect called the Hemlock woolly adelgid, or HWA. And HWA was first discovered in 1951 around the Richmond area, where there are native hemlocks. And since then it's spread to, I believe, around 90% of the hemlock's native range, which is kind of crazy. And it lays its egg, the insect lays their eggs on the underside of the leaves. So you'll see it like here. Thankfully, this tree doesn't have any. It's actually been sprayed in the past for the pest, because it is, you know, it lays its eggs and it appears as sort of like a white, almost fungus look on the underside. It's like sort of white specks and white dots on the underside of the leaves. And I saw some at the Arboretum recently, which was concerning. And hopefully, I didn't notify them about that, but I probably will. And I'm sure they'll be on top of it. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of concerning. They have a lot of conifers there. And if you go to places like Great Smoky Mountains National Park, Shenandoah National Park especially, which is a place 2 hours or less from here in Virginia, where it's, again, deciduous dominated. So these trees are really, really special aspects of the park. Then both there and Smoky Mountains National Park, which is actually a temperate rainforest on the Tennessee-North Carolina border, which actually has a pretty big hemlock and conifer cover. But a lot of the mountains, such as Clingman's Dome, you'll just see like basically ghost forests, as they call them, where you just have dead tree after dead tree. It's just like an entire slope covered in dead hemlocks. And you can see it around here. Some of the trees, even in the city, you know, you'll see just, I mean, you can tell because it's the shape of a hemlock. And you know, some conifers are deciduous, but you know, you'll see a hemlock or a conifer that loses its leaves, unless it's like a bald cypress or larch or something like that. It most likely will be dead or diseased. So you will see some of those sometimes. There are some near here, but thankfully the spraying has been effective. Ours haven't been affected by the HWA, Hemlock woolly adelgid, but it is a real problem. And like I said, the pests, you know, they lay their eggs on the underside of the leaf, so they appear as like white flecks, like white little specks. And yeah, they sort of eat their way through the tree, starve the tree of nutrients, and kill it. Thankfully, Cook Forest State Park and other hemlock groves in Pennsylvania and in the Northeast haven't been as badly affected. The DC area has been pretty badly affected. A lot of hemlocks have died, except for Prince William Forest Park, which is this park in near Alexandria, Virginia. That's the one area where most of the hemlocks there haven't died, which is always great to see. So that one area somehow has been affected, thankfully, thank God. But it's a real problem, and scientists and you know, various biologists, etc., have been treating it, which is good to see. There is some fight against it, and people are planting young hemlocks as well, which is always awesome to see. I have seen some native hemlocks around here that look good, just individual patches But yeah, I mean, it's a real threat to them, and all the more reason, I guess, why I love them, or why I at least want to conserve them. Just really awesome trees, and redwoods of the east, like I said, so they are stunning, and they do have that sort of a bit of a redwood look from a distance. And if you see them growing together in places like Cook Forest State Park in Pennsylvania, the first time I saw a picture of it, I thought it must be some wrong picture. I actually thought it was Redwood National Park, just the way they all grow together so elegantly with, you know, ferns just covering the ground. It looks very much like a western landscape you find in Redwood National Park or somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. But yeah, it's in Pennsylvania, so it's pretty crazy. And state tree of Pennsylvania, apparently it's the 6th most common tree in Pennsylvania, which is actually really surprising to me, considering I think Pennsylvania has the largest number of native trees, I think around 500 something, and 6th most common out of 500 something is pretty impressive considering it's a conifer. And you know, if you look at a forest, you know, if you go, like, you can hike up into the mountains in Pennsylvania and overlook the forest, you almost only see just sort of dead deciduous trees in winter, you know, I should say dead, you know, dormant leafless deciduous trees, and you will see little patches and green specks that will usually be pines or these hemlocks. And you know, that's the other thing, is these hemlocks tend to grow in tight stands. They're not really spread out, just like you won't really find one here, one there. They tend to grow in pretty dense stands where they will be the dominant trees, but then once you get out of the stands, you won't really find them very much. So like Cook Forest State Park is a really large area, so that's why it's so special. But yeah, it's completely dominated by hemlock, and then you get outside of there and it gets pretty deciduous. But same with a lot of the local pine species. They will grow in stands, specifically along rivers, along streams, and also sometimes on hillsides as well. But just a beautiful native conifer. And yeah, you gotta love the eastern hemlock, Tsuga canadensis, and beautiful, you know, feathery type foliage, and just an awesome tree all around. So glad they're doing well. And yeah, these are pretty old ones. I don't know exactly how old, but I just love them, and I think they're awesome. So I got my Spanish moss there. So yeah, this is my favorite native tree to the DC area. Loblolly pines are native to, you know, if you're including that Annapolis area, loblolly pines, which I love, are native to that park, but that's its own city, it's their capital. So just including the you know, immediate DC area, hemlocks are my favorite. And I don't know if I like them more than loblolly pines or not, but just the immediate area, certainly my favorite trees. I love eastern white pines as well. Any conifer or evergreen tree is going to be on that list higher than any deciduous tree. You know, there's so many deciduous trees here that I'm a real evergreen person. And yeah, for me, what I like most about them is that they're very, not just the fact that they're evergreen, but the fact that they're evergreen adds and makes them really look, especially when you see them in the wild, makes it very much look like the West, like something you'll find in like the Sierra Nevada mountains or something like that, or the Pacific Northwest, the Cascades, or the Coast Ranges. These are very, you know, just like the you know, Western hemlock, very you know, just elegant, tall, evergreen trees. And you can see all the cones on it. They always drop cones, tons of them. So maybe I'll try growing some and plant them locally, just to do our part to sort of help the conservation of these magnificent native trees. But yeah, tell me what you guys think, if you like hemlocks, if you don't. You know, again, it's sort of like with palms here, we sort of take what we can get. You can see my needle palm there doing pretty well. So you know, if I lived in a place where hemlocks, like maybe Washington, where western hemlocks are everywhere, you know, maybe I wouldn't appreciate them as much, or Douglas firs, for example. But here, where they're pretty rare, especially in the forest, we take what we can get. And you know, I've got these nice ones growing right next to my house, so I really appreciate them, and I think they're awesome trees. So let me know what you guys think, if you like hemlocks, or what you think about them, or what other native trees to the DC area or where you are, you guys love. I know I usually do videos on palms and other exotic plants. This isn't exactly an exotic plant, it's a native plant, but just thought I'd do a quick video on that, because they are pretty awesome trees, and really elegant when you see them growing along the streams and hillsides, etc. here. So take care. Thanks for watching, folks. This is eastern hemlock, Tsuga canadensis, and just a awesome conifer. So take care, folks.